I love my life. I have a wonderful family. They're saying, Dad, you're going to do something that's going to be so tough. You know, all of my life I've heard that a truly successful person, a really, really successful person, and even modestly successful, cannot run for public office. Just can't happen. And yet that's the kind of mindset that you need to make this country great again. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again. Excuse me, sit down. You weren't called. Sit down. Sit down.
I want that Barack Wally guy stopped immediately.
And now your host, Brock Lawley.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Brock Lawley program. My name is Brock Lawley. I am your fearless host. Let's tackle the news headlines, shall we? So Hillary looks like she finally finishes off a socialist. And make no mistake, Hillary Clinton is a socialist. She is a socialist, ladies and gentlemen. So this whole thing has been somewhat confusing for the voter, arguably intentionally so. I mean, I've thought, and I have to admit, I ate crow on this. I think I was actually wrong about this. But I thought from jump, Bernie Sanders was just, weird distraction. Like one of those little weird cat toys you buy for a cat. Maybe like a laser toy that you throw up on the wall and the cat paws it to death. I mean, just to deflect from pure unadulterated failure, pure leftist insanity, which we've just had for 8 years. So I suppose if you throw Bernie Sanders, juxtapose Bernie Sanders against Hillary Clinton, somehow her fiscal policy seems reasonable. So I always thought that was the case. No, I think it was wrong. I think the Democratic Party has veered so left that that's where they are. They are where you elect a socialist. And of course, Bernie drug her, at least rhetorically. The Dems like to play their intentions close to the chest. Everybody knows that. It's the opposite of what conservatives do. Conservatives are a little too open, forced into the adulthood in the room most of the time, specifically in the fiscal realm. But anyway, have you ever seen corruption just more transparent and naked than the Democratic Party? I mean, yesterday, before people even went to the ballot box, every single media outfit, every single one, and there is no exception to this, declared Hillary Clinton the winner. Before people even went to the ballot box in California. Do you think that determined vote turnout? Do you think Bernie got hosed by that? Yes. Absolutely, without a doubt, a firm yes. That's not even debatable. Every single media outlet declares Hillary Clinton the winner before California even takes to the polls. Corrupt? Yes. Purposeful? Yes. Weird Democrat machine goonery, hand in glove with the media nonsense? Yes. Counting up superdelegates as if they're delegates. Just shadiness. Just pure shadiness. I got to tell you, I never would think that Brock Lawley's heart would break for Bernie Sanders' campaign, but in some ways it really does because the guy's totally hosed. So the Trumpster comes out and makes a plea for his voters. I think that's very smart, by the way, on a political level. Goes to show you what kind of strange bedfellows we got in this insane three-ring circus election. But the just a little less so socialist beats the socialist, and I suppose that's the news. And again, I tell you, you know what? The other headline that you're supposed to walk away with if you listen to the alphabet soup is that after, and this is in this month. This month. That's how much whiplash a reasonable person like myself can endure. This month, and let's just call it 2016 to be totally accurate. So the 2016 leftist social engineering headlines are, gender's irrelevant, you're a prudish conservative type if you recognize socially constructed gender. Not even before you can take your breath, we're all supposed to get in line and celebrate Hillary Clinton's gender. She's smashing ceilings because women, which we are not even supposed to recognize that as a firm gender, but women, even though we're not supposed to recognize that, are reaching heights of power they've never reached before. Confusing? Yes. Incoherent? Yes. That is leftism. It makes no sense. It's whatever you want it to be. It's however you can manipulate people in the moment. So yeah, last month we were all haters, bigots, and transophobes for not wanting to disregard gender as a fixed thing. This month, if we don't recognize Hillary Clinton's gender, we're all those same names. You see how it works? Good to be a leftist. Good to be an insane, lunatic, social engineering, radical leftist. Ladies and gentlemen, the Democrat fight moves on to the Democratic platform, according to the Wall Street Journal. Meaning Bernie's going to most likely leverage his revolution. We got revolution here. Going to leverage that. So basically, it's how anti-American, how anti-prosperity, how anti-Israel can the party be? There's going to be a lot of arm twisting. Not anti-Israel enough, Bernie says. Not anti-capitalistic enough. Not anti-jobs enough. Not anti-American enough. See, that's what we got the tug of war over on the left. How much can we hate America with a fiery, red-hot passion of 1,000 suns? That's not hot. Hillary is not hot enough with her hatred of the American people, the American culture, the American prosperity model. Friedman, with his most self-righteous and clueless piece, Friedman has been having panic attacks on television recently. He calls for a new Republican Party, ladies and gentlemen. He describes the Democrat Party. This guy is straight-faced saying that the Democrat Party is center-left. They're running a socialist. Friedman is writing that they're a center-left party. And all the Republicans need to do to become more mainstream is agree with Democrats all the time. Easy enough. The Democrats have always had a problem with this opposition party concept. It's very difficult for them. You know, the party of no. The Republicans disagreed with Barack Obama and his policies. Can you believe the audacity of the opposition party opposing? It's a very hard concept for them to grasp. It's very hard for them to understand that people disagree with them. Yes, Freeman, lefty McLeftville, giving conservatives lots of advice. Oh, gosh. Judges will now decide a company's worth. Very, very frightening in this fascistic movement that we have going on. Now judges in courts will determine the liquid wealth and the liquid worth of a company. Case in point in the New York Times with Dell. This is a business story. You won't have the average person, you don't have to be a wonk in business. You won't have trouble following this. It's one of the biggest stories of the year for anybody paying attention to the culture and the temperature of a nation. We won't be ruled by a president. We'll be ruled by courts. Moreover, this is very Banana Republic. This is very Hugo Chavez seizing private industry. And this has been a long, long coming. I mean, this has just happened. From seizing automotive companies to seizing... It's just what the state wants it to be. It's very disturbing. It will affect us in a very negative way. I'm just reporting it to you. Crazy college radical demands of the year. Somebody's compiled a beautiful piece for you in the Daily Beast. And when you see, that's what happens with the left. When they hit you in the moment, they get you caught up in the noise. You don't recognize it. But when you look at everything stacked up against it, it's quite startling. For example, do you remember? So this is the most recent. You abolish English classes that feature any white writing at all, specifically white male poets. Insane, right? To a rational mind, that's insane. Abolish it. And if you don't, we're going to drive you out of your job. Implement racially segregated spaces, safe spaces on campus. So more than 50 years after the civil rights movement, we're now segregating again by the so-called progressive left. This is all happening on college campuses, ladies and gentlemen. Am I making this up? You can research this yourself. No more cross-ethnic food, songs, dances, or haircuts. Again, no cross-ethnic. You had students complaining about General Tso's chicken being consumed on campus. That's racist. The college students claiming police microaggression, defined by them as even seeing a police officer, causes them to suck their thumb in fetal position like fright. Get rid of all grades and tests. Not making this up. John Hopkins University, many others, by the way, capitulating with this. No grades, no tests, according to the insane millennials. And the list goes on. The leftism, it's all Frankenstein. It's all been created by the left. People like me are desperately warning you of the insanity, pervasive everywhere. Anyway, I really, really encourage you to check that out. TheDailyBeast.com has that. UN troops in Africa accused of murder, rape, and just about every other horrible thing you can think of, by the way. The UN's best interest to find out the truth of this. As if the UN needed any more black eye. But what's interesting about this is, the U.S. military, Abu Ghraib was on the front page of the New York Times like 50-some days in a row because they could trash them. I wonder how much the UN's like the leftist baby, right? It's the white glove. They don't have any problems. They're out raping and pillaging and murdering. If this is true, which I don't know, we'll see. 10-year European bonds on a global economic news, virtually unmoved, no interest at all on these bonds because there's no growth whatsoever. Europe is cracking before our eyes. The grand socialist experiment is but a whisper and a whimper as it dies. And ladies and gentlemen, this is obvious, and can be seen, can be studied, can be read about, but we just ignore it as we march towards our socialist hell here in this country. Insane? Yes. Straight white men excluded from quote-unquote equality conference. You have to describe your protected characteristic to attend the equality conference. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, but it's real. It's real life. People go to these conferences. It's insane. The cop countersues in Baltimore, the city official. I hope this cop wins, by the way. I guess the courts is the way you got to do it. D.C. raises the minimum wage to $15 an hour. The mayor comments that that's not enough money. Needs to raise it to $25 an hour. Of course, these people have never run a business, by the way. Have never owned a business. Never in any way, shape, or form had to deal with a spreadsheet, Excel, etc. Never had to balance a book, never had a payroll, nothing. $25 an hour, maybe $50 an hour. I've always the best argument, and I've said this many times, I'm repeating myself, I think the best argument against this nonsense is to just claim whatever the leftist wacko who's never probably even been employed is talking about, just up the ante. So if he says $50 an hour, say you want $200 an hour. If he says he wants $200 an hour, say you want $4,000 an hour. Until he says to you, whoa, what are you talking about? Which then you can say to him, of course, what are we talking about? Because we're certainly not talking about fiscal realities here. So what are we talking about? I mean, heck, if we're just going to disregard all fiscal realities, all limitations that we know of in the world around us, then if we just start talking gibberish and calling it democratic policy, well, why can't you just outdo them? Just outdo them with the gibberish until they come back down to earth. A forest company fights back against Greenpeace madness. I only wish they had sued them for more. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm talking about. The left is not used to getting their nose broken or their lip bloodied. The American sane, I'm not even calling us the conservative movement anymore. The American sane needs to fight back in the courts, fight back in the social arena. In every way, we need to fight back. You got I posted a compilation video on my Facebook page of leftist protesters violently attacking conservatives, going to nothing more than political rallies, cracking bottles over their heads, spitting on them, throwing eggs at them, busting their heads open with rocks. This is absurd. Police do nothing because the police don't want to have bad PR. This is madness. Fight back, fight back, fight back. Ladies and gentlemen, with fortitude, character, and above all else, courage.
À Broclo, les productions